Right. We have about 41 people here, and I think we had close to 130 people register. So that's awesome. We'll see how many people are able to show up. It was kind of a quick turnaround. My name is Dr. Robin Nelson. I'm an educational specialist for the NHERI Educational and Community Outreach, and I work with the NHERI Education Programming. So before we get started, I do want to just make sure if you haven't had a chance to go to the Design Safe page, let me change this real quick. I'm going to put the link in the chat. If you haven't been able to go to the NHERI Graduate Student Council webpage and register, if you will make sure that you do that so that we have your information. So as we progress, we can send out the stuff that we need to send out to you and we can keep in contact with you. Before we get going on our content, I do want to just welcome all of you. Let me go ahead and click this in. We have a lot to cover today. We're going to learn about, first of all, what NHERI is. We're going to meet everyone who's in our meeting. And then we're going to start planning the NHERI Student Council. This is a student-run organization. It is not something that NHERI will be running. I'm here to help facilitate and plug in NHERI resources wherever we can. But ultimately, this is your council, and we want it to serve the purpose that meets your needs. Once we do the breakout rooms, we'll report out, we'll set up hopefully a date and time for the rest of fall. So for November and December and hopefully January. And then we'll set up everything for the next semester once we enter that semester and everyone knows what their schedule is, because we know it changes from semester to semester. So that's what we hope to accomplish today. Any questions about that? Okay. I want to end this real quick because I want to go about it differently. Okay, so we have had members register from all over the world. So most people, I would say, are in the United States right now, currently in their graduate studies, but we do have people who are in India and in China currently that also want to join our program. So I'm just going to read this list of nations because I was very impressed. China, Iran, Ethiopia, South Korea, Egypt, Costa Rica, Colombia, Nepal, Ecuador, Peru, Greece, Australia, Nigeria, Ghana, India, Jamaica, Bangladesh, Rwanda, Malaysia, Canada, Turkey, Jordan, Nicaragua, and Japan. And that's, you know, we may not have all of those down. I may have had some people register and haven't had a chance to add that yet. So very impressive. People come from all over the world. Welcome. I'm so glad that you're here. I'm going to go backwards. From there, I see someone's in the chat. Okay. So for the NHERI network, first of all, our full name is the Natural Hazards Engineering Research Infrastructure. Even though engineering is our name, that is not the only thing we focus on. It is what we started focusing on when we started, and that was 5 years ago. It's a network of 11 experimental facilities that focus on natural hazards. We focus on wind, tsunami, coastal engineering, simulation and computational modeling, earthquake engineering, reconnaissance, as well as social science. So we definitely are moving more in an interdisciplinary to transdisciplinary way of researching. And so we welcome anyone who is interested in natural hazards. Those are our specialties, but everyone is welcome in this Natural Hazards Graduate Council. The network in each site is funded by the National Science Foundation. So I'll move this so we can see. These are all of the different components of NHERI. I am part of the Network Coordination Office, and the Education and Community Outreach is not at Purdue. We're actually at the University of Texas at San Antonio, but we're part of Purdue. And so we just help coordinate the network. Berkeley focuses on computational simulation. Obviously, they're in California. The University of Texas at Austin has 2 different sites. One you know of as Design Safe, and they focus on cyber infrastructure and data management, but we also have UT of Texas Mobile Shakers that focuses on earthquake engineering. We have Florida International University and University of Florida, both which focus on wind simulation. They both use different technologies. Lehigh is hybrid simulation, that's in Pennsylvania. UC San Diego has the large stake table, which should open. They have a new one, and I think it opens this month if it's not already open. You have UC Davis, which is geotechnical modeling. Oregon State University, which is coastal engineering, focusing on wave and tsunami research. The University of Washington, which focuses on reconnaissance and works extensively with STEER, GEAR, Converge. Anyone in the natural hazards community can check out equipment from the University of Washington and take it anywhere in the world to do research. And then, of course, the University of Colorado at Boulder, or Converge, is our social science component. So this community that we are building right now can pull from any of the resources from the NHERI network. And so it's a very extensive network with a lot of different sites, a lot of moving parts, but it also has a great reach. So hopefully that will be a benefit to you. I see someone else in the chat. Oh, January, thank you. Someone is letting me know that it's been moved again. Thank you for that update. So the shake table will be ready in January. Thank you so much. I know that timetable, especially with COVID, has had to move a little bit. Okay, questions about the NHERI network? You can unmute and ask, you can put it in chat, and there's going to be plenty
I
of
have one. I'm very interested.
Right,
I'm a PhD student. Hello, my name is Nico Grizel-Todorov. I'm a PhD student at Chapman University and have previously worked as a software engineer and software development manager on the HAZUS program with FEMA, which is actually computing most of these natural hazards, namely flood, hurricanes, tsunamis, earthquakes, and coastal surge. So I'm not sure, not seeing Chapman here. Is that going to be a problem for me or not?
No, not at all. This network is open to everyone. It is not isolated to these universities. It's all about natural hazards and moving from a single silo idea of natural hazards and really trying to expand it, include everyone who's interested in natural hazards, and coming up with a way to support all of these graduate students who have a similar mission, but it might be in a slightly different field. I know when I was getting my PhD, I didn't have anyone in my university that was focusing on my topic. So being able to reach out and extend further and being able to make those connections is something we hope to be able to help you with. And I
Great, thank you.
Yes, of course. Can students from outside of the NHERI network benefit from being a part of the student council? Of course. You have all of the NHERI resources at your disposal as far as all of the faculty that work with NHERI, making mentoring connections. If you are interested in doing research, we can help you plug in with them and find out what you need to find out to do that. If you are outside of the US, you are still welcome to participate in the NHERI Graduate Student Council. The only thing that we cannot do, because we're NSF funded, we cannot fund anything for you. So we have one awesome opportunity. We're going to select 5 NHERI Graduate Student Council members to attend the Summer Institute in June in San Antonio. And it is for graduate students, early career faculty, and all of the NHERI network. So we'll have representatives from everyone in this network come to San Antonio. We also have our NSF director come. We look at proposal writing. We look at all of the resources that are here. You make connections with other people. There's a lot of networking that typically goes on. It's been a little bit different with COVID, although we were able to have it in person. And I did see a couple of people who signed up who were graduate students who attended. Is there anyone on right now that attended the NHERI Summer Institute this past summer?
Yes, I
I
did.
did.
Okay, there's a couple people. Do you want to give a quick synopsis? It was different this year, but do you want to kind of give them a summary of what the Summer Institute would offer them?
Okay, I can start. So, hi everyone. I'm Kanika Lamba. I'm a graduate student at Iowa State University currently, and I attended the Summer Institute in San Antonio. It was a really good experience. I would say if you get a chance, you should definitely go for it. And there was so much of networking, as well as we explored San Antonio. So it was fun as well. So I think what we learned was about proposal writing. We had to submit a sample proposal ahead of time, and then we were grouped in different teams, and we had to come up with a research idea and write a proposal about it. And then we had to present that proposal in front of everyone, including the NHERI facilities people, and we were given feedback. Okay, what's good for your proposal? What's not good for your proposal? And it was really like eye-opening, and I got to know how it is to write proposal for NSF and what are the things they look for. On the top of that, we were also like given feedback by the NSF director, and that was like really good, because as a student I would not know what's the right thing to go for. And if I'm like early career faculty, what are the things what they look for? And after that, we also networked with different students and faculty members, and I also got to talk to Design Safe director. So that was I needed some help with Design Safe, and I was like offered right then and there. So there was a lot of networking. If you get a chance, I would definitely say go for it.
Right. And this year we're doing it slightly different. We're only going to select 5 graduate students to go, and you're going to be paired with a mentor, and it's fully funded. So if you're part of this graduate council and you have not attended before, you are eligible to be able to attend. If you attend, I think it's at least 3 meetings by January. We want you to be participating. So the NHERI Student Council, as I mentioned, is a student-run organization, and it's intended to build community between graduate students in the natural hazards. Kanika, thank you so much for sharing that with us. As we move through this, I want you to also think about some of the objectives of the council: building a diverse graduate community, having connections with diverse mentors, attending workshops that are focused on natural hazards, social science and natural hazards, research, career workshops. We definitely want to include diversity, equity, and inclusion. We want to learn about the impact of natural research on practice, and we also want to gain some leadership service and funding opportunities. I have 2 questions. If you are a PhD student, can you have a short-term visit to a facility? That is something that I might be able to arrange. I can definitely get in contact with Florida. It's UF in Florida or FIU. Those are the 2 Florida institutions that we connect with. We do not connect with UCF. And then what criteria used for choosing the 5 graduate students to attend the student council? The biggest thing will be attending, and then what we will do is we'll let everyone who is eligible, you just have to attend 3 meetings. If you attend 3 meetings, you're eligible to apply for the Summer Institute, and from your applications, we'll select 5 of you to attend. So that's a great question. Appreciate that. Okay, so next. We talked about where the members are from. This is the breakdown of the membership as it stands right now. Most of you are PhD students. There are a few who are master's students, and we welcome you. The other is a combination of PhD and master's students, so we won't get into that breakdown. But I want you to have a chance to get to know some of the other people in the rooms right now. So I have set up some breakout rooms. Let me find the breakout rooms. And as you can see, There are IB breakout rooms. Those are icebreaker breakout rooms. And there are BR breakout rooms. Okay. You are going to be allowed, hopefully, to choose your own breakout room. We are only choosing from the IB breakout rooms, which stand for
my
icebreaker.
masculine influence during the law room particularly was a big
Thank you. So you're going to join one of the icebreaker rooms, and you're going to choose the icebreaker room, which is named after the research area you're most interested. So we have wind, tsunami, coastal, earthquake, simulation and computational modeling, cyber infrastructure, data management, reconnaissance, and social science. So also, you're going to need to open Padlet. So I'm going to do two things. First, I'm going to get out of this big screen. If it will let me. Okay. And I'm going to put this link in the chat. If you will click on that link, that will take you to Padlet and give you the instructions. You're going to be actually here at Padlet. And we're going to play a very quick game of Never Have I Ever in our breakout rooms. So once you enter the breakout room, you're going to type your name into the chat box, but not yet. And that's going to be the order that you end up going in. Okay, you're going to introduce yourself to the group. And then you're going to make sure your camera is on, please. And then you're going to hold up your hand to keep score if you've never played Never Have I Ever before. The first name in the chat will read the first Never Have I Ever statement below. So I created a few statements here at the beginning just to help you get started. If it does not apply to you, if you've never done that, so the first one says, never have I ever conducted research that was not interdisciplinary. If I've only conducted interdisciplinary research, I'm going to put a finger down. The person who puts all their fingers down first wins. Questions about how to play Never Have I Ever? Okay, so the directions are here. The Padlet is here. Please make sure you've clicked the link. And this is going to give you a chance right now to connect with people in areas that you're interested in researching. I'm going to give you about 10 minutes before we come back. Okay. And so let's go. Let me find my breakout room window. All right. You are only going to join the IB rooms. And you will choose the one that you would like to join. Has it given you the option to select? Oh gosh, this is the problem that I'm, okay. We don't have time to do that then. Okay, so we're gonna do this. We're gonna play Never Have I Ever together as a group, unfortunately, since it's not allowing us to do that. Because it was supposed to let us do that. And then we will break out for the next section, okay? So I'm gonna start first, and actually I'd like everyone to put your name in chat. We got 69 people here, so there should be quite a few names. Oh my goodness, so many people. All right. So I have to pull this up here so we can see as many people as possible. All right. This is just going to be for fun, especially now that we've got everyone. So I've got my 5 fingers. And I'm going to do it this way so I can see my questions real quick because I forgot what they were. Never have I ever pretended to be listening on a Zoom call while actually playing computer games. If you have done that, put a question down. All right. Holly's the next person in chat, and then Ronnie. So you're going to be able to say what the next question is.
Never have I ever attended class at the University of Texas in Austin.
Okay, I'm an Aggie, so I had to put that in there. Thank you, Holly. Ronnie, you're next.
Never have I ever skipped grad school pretending I was sick.
Paula,
Ever have I ever studied abroad in a foreign country?
okay. Joshua,
I can't pull up the Padlet, so I can't see the questions.
that's
Sorry.
okay. Just do one off the top of your head. That's good too.
Never have I ever skipped a class to go do homework for another class.
Okay. Elliot, great one.
Never have I ever been to a NHERI facility.
All right. Rob,
Never have I ever skipped out on a conference to do some sightseeing.
I'm out.
who's out?
I'm out. Holly's out.
Holly's out. All right,
I'm out
Holly
too.
is our winner. Congratulations, Holly. Holly, at the end of the meeting, stay on or send me an email. I'll put my email in the chat. There is a prize for you. If I can type. All right. So thank you so much for playing. It would have been better if we could have done it in our breakout rooms, but if I took the time to break out everyone in those groups, we wouldn't get to the meat of what we're doing. So moving on, and I'm gonna shrink y'all down. I'm gonna close this out. So coming back here, we want to plan what we want to accomplish with this NHERI Graduate Council. These are not, this is not for me, this is for you. And so I want you to have a voice and actually plan what we're going to do. I want you to keep in mind, please, the different objectives that we have on the screen. As we do this, for this, I am going to break you into breakout rooms. You will be there for 20 minutes. So it may take me a little bit, but I will put every single person in the breakout room that they choose to be in, okay? If you want to focus on planning for natural hazards workshops because you want to make sure that you get to see this specific person or you have some really great ideas about that, I will put you in natural hazards workshop. If you're really interested in the impact of research on practice, I will put you in that one. We also have networking. Do you have ideas about how we can network? Community building. If you have ways that we can build our community and reach out, especially since we're doing this virtually and it is a large group. Diversity, equity, and inclusion is so important. If you have great ideas for that, there's going to be a room for that. Sharing research. If you are interested in sharing research and you have ideas on how we can do that, we've got a room for that. Mentoring as well as leadership. If you choose one room, that doesn't mean that you don't have any input on the other rooms. That just means that is the most important focus for you right now. Does everyone understand that? Okay. There are lots of rooms. If you know which room you want to go to, you can, and I'm going to make this large so you can see it a little bit better. You can use your phone to scan and it will launch a Google Doc where y'all will keep notes so that we have a record of what everyone did in their separate rooms. We're going to report out when we come back. Okay, I'm going to leave this for just a second, but I'll come right back. Yeah, okay. So those are our rooms, and I'm going to go ahead and ask you to verbally, please, if you can, because I'm going to have to be doing this, put you in your rooms. And as soon as you get there, when you go to those Google Docs, they have the topic there. They have some ideas to get started. And then, you know, this is a chance for you to show your leadership and to get busy on deciding what you want out of this experience. Questions? I see 2 people in chat. Oh, I'm sorry, Mike. My bad. It was on you. Okay, thanks for that. Okay, and I have someone else that did too. Okay, I will get back to that in a second. So let's do breakout rooms as quickly as I possibly can. All right. I'm going to assume that everyone is back or will be back shortly. I'm going to put links, if I can get them to copy, into the chat. Natural hazards, can I have your representative report out quickly, please?
I don't think we said representative.
Okay. Can someone volunteer?
I think maybe Oscar is the most appropriate
Volunteer
to speak.
Okay, yeah, I can go ahead. So yeah, so we went ahead and discussed the questions as in terms of the interested topics we would like to learn about. Some of them are like intersections between social vulnerability and physical vulnerability, innovative technologies for data collection, machine learning applications for natural hazards, the effects of earthquakes on vertical elements, how to write a proper proposal, the effect of wildfire on soil properties, multi-hazards and like compound effects between them, the wind engineering impacts on residential structures, and the effect of natural hazards on geotechnical structures, or just like in terms of geotechnic effects. We are interested in having for these workshops academics for proposal writing, impact of research on professional and stakeholders, and then we would like also that like to have a representative from each of the NHERI universities where they can come in and speak. For example, here at the University of Florida, we have boundary layer wind tunnel modeling, we have component testing, like using pressure and actuators. So like one representative from each university that tells like what the research there is mainly about. We would like to host one workshop per semester during separate times that are not pertaining to our meetings. And then in terms of how we would collaborate on this, we would have like Slack and Teams, and then also set small groups for the design of each of the workshops that we propose. And then we will get together and think of these topics and put them in a way that makes sense, like how, if is 2 workshops appropriate, 1 or more, we will go back to see if that makes sense. But yeah, that's what we discussed that time.
Thank you so much, Oscar. I appreciate that. Before we go to the next person, I'm going to put something in the chat. That is the poll, which tells us when you can meet. And I just want to make sure that we have that out there so everyone can take that. But then I'm going to say, can we have impact of research share out?
Yeah, I'll do my best. We've got a document here that we put together.
Yeah, and if you want to share it, you can.
I can share my screen?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's do that. All right, can everyone see this? Or are you looking at my email?
Nope, I can see it.
Okay, great. So what are we interested in learning about? We came up with, we want to communicate how to best prepare for natural risks to communities, whether that be best management practices, policies, or engineering solutions, and to engage with local stakeholders. Also, data and technology, what resources exist for different challenges, and how can we use them, perhaps host workshops for that. Really, I think the big thing we talked about was advocacy. How long does it take to get your research topics in front of governments, local governments, state governments? How best to pitch it. I think how to sell it was something that came up. So maybe a workshop on that. And then who are we interested in hearing speak? We're thinking government entities, people, maybe groups from federal, state, and local groups, private sector groups, so they're in construction, urban planning, crisis management was a big one. Industry, professional organizations, so maybe Association, Society of Civil Engineers, American Society of Adaptation Professionals, et cetera. And then, leading researchers, perhaps on coastal management, stuff like that. And then ways to collaborate was probably the one we spent the least amount of time on. But perhaps, if some of our members in this organization have similar research interests, then we team up, or, if it's interdisciplinary, come up with ways to combine our research to instigate action in one community or more than one.
Awesome. Thank you so much. That was Robert. Thank you, Robert, for impact. And then Community building.
I can go ahead and summarize for the group. Our conversation was fairly casual, but what we really established as a primary goal was providing opportunities, both funding opportunities and also in-person / virtual gathering opportunities for members of the natural hazards research interdisciplinary community to connect, to attend conferences, to have opportunities to gain the kinds of experience that might be acquired at workshops like the one in San Antonio next year, and to provide alternatives for students who don't make that 5 student cut for the application cycle next winter. We talked about how there are various professional societies like the International Association of Emergency Managers and the Disaster Research Center that have their own community building groups that we can model a NHERI based group off of. We also proposed the idea of having formally organized events and financial support for the natural hazards workshops at CU Boulder to give students and professionals an opportunity to community build. And I personally also was wondering whether it might make sense, and maybe the representative from the networking group can share their thoughts on this, but I feel like community building and networking are very similar and in some ways identical. So there might be opportunities to merge those efforts as well.
I think there's several places where these topics overlap, and definitely I think that networking is something that could be done and does definitely fall under community building. There was one person who was in networking, no one else went there, and so Ari Prio is the person I think who was there, and I don't remember what.
Yeah, I was actually.
Yes.
Yeah.
So hopefully we can also talk about that. Thank you, Robbie, for sharing for community building, sharing research.
So I volunteered to share the comment. So first we talk about that we need to know what each of the members is working on. So we need to identify the research topics, the interests, so we can group them together. That's gonna help improve specific research ideas. We also talk about having monthly meetings, and these meetings are, the purpose of this meeting is to support through student feedback. We can have conversation and discussion that can help us improve the research. We also talk about having writing accountability groups that also can help us improve the research. And we talk about having sort of benchmark, and because we know that sometimes it's going to be difficult for us to communicate our research ideas to a public, for example. So it might be useful to have sort of benchmark or templates of data models, plots that we can know which one is better to communicate specific goals. Regarding having these type of discussions about research idea during regular council meeting or separate, we think that it's better to have single events outside the regular council meeting. This is because this will be very focused on, as I mentioned before, on the research ideas. In terms of in the interdisciplinary work, again, it is going to be, and this has to do with the previous member, when we talk about having like the networking, it will be important to know, to have a directory of the students so we know what are the different interests and we can work together. And finally, Nico gave this idea of having a platform that we can use to share, for example, codes and data. So we know if we're doing some specific analysis, we can look at this platform like GitHub, and we can see if someone else is doing something similar, and we can take that as an example. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much, Fernando. And then the last one is leadership.
Well, Mike, Kanika and I had an interesting discussion. We sort of looked at the roles, and our goal is to actually sort of come back to you guys with a charter showing roles and that, and seeing what input you guys would like to have on that. We felt that in addition to the traditional structural role, president, vice president, secretary, finance, we should have a chair for each of the committees. So the natural hazards workshop chair, the diversity, equity, and inclusion chair, etc., so that this becomes manageable. We felt that also maybe an alumni chair, and fundraising, if we decide that we want to do any fundraising, and maybe a NHERI rep who would sit on as an advisor. We didn't really get to terms, but I think we'll probably just sit down and hash out best practices there. We felt that a monthly general meeting to have each group report up on their specific meetings as well as social events, sort of, you know, happy hours, virtuals, brown bags, professional workshops. And so I don't know if any of the committees want to take over some of those, and or if we just have a you know, general, how do you get funded for your research, and who wants to do that brown bag, or have a professional come in and do those. And we felt that by having those sorts of meetings, everyone should be able to get in at least 3 meetings to at least apply for the scholarship if they want to come January, February.
Awesome. Okay. I know that was a lot to fit in an hour. It was probably a little bit much, and I apologize for that. But I really thank you for all your ideas. We have everything recorded. I have put all of the links so that you can visit all of the documents and put your input on all of the documents. I hope that you will go to the poll and set a time for next month, but you can continue to be sharing information on those documents about what things you would like to see. Next time we have a speaker who will be coming to talk about impacts on research. So I hope you'll join us for that. And then as we get ourselves up and running and we know what our structure will look like, we'll continue to put in place the things that you want to see. I'm going to stay on, and I'll be glad to answer any questions or listen to any feedback that you have. But I want to thank you so much for joining us today. Sasan, you have your hand up? You want to share something?
Yeah, Robin, thanks for the meeting. I think all of us have maybe have this question, that is there any grants or any proposals that students can participate, and can be, for example, because I know there's proposal for NSF or NHERI that is doing by mainly by academic professors. Can we have that for students? I mean, students take a part for proposal, and they test their chance to see that whether they can win this scholarship or no, the grant from NSF or no.
You know what? I think that's something that I might be able to do. So I have to talk with my director. I have to talk with the NHERI Council. So I have to take it through several people, but I think it's definitely worth a shot. And so next meeting, or actually as soon as I get that information, I'll send it out via email and let you know. Costa, I see your hand next.
Yes, thank you, Robbie. First of all, thank you for hosting this event. I have a question about the NHERI Summer Institute.
Correct. Okay.
In its website, it says that the application is opens today on October 18th. However, we said that you cannot evaluate the graduate student scholarships because we need at least 3 participations in this meeting. So I'm confused. How can it be open? And
it's open, but it won't close until
February.
And so we will know by January. It's going to be a shorter time window for you to do it. If you're interested, go ahead and start filling out your application. You can fill it out ahead of time. If you don't qualify, I will just have to remove your name. So if you want to fill it out today, go for it.
So when we attend 3 meetings, after that we can fill our application and work with.
Or you can, Or you can do it now, but I will just be going through, and if you didn't qualify, I have to remove your name.
I guess I will do it now. You
You
will
can.
remove our names.
Yes.
Okay.
If you would like to do it now, or if you want to wait, however you want to do it, we'll make it work.
Okay, so there is not a first come, first serve. I mean,
It is not.
okay,
Mm-mm.
thank you.
Yes. Olani, did I say that?
Yeah, Olani, yeah.
Yay.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
A bit of concern actually for some of us that our institutions, I'm from Auburn University. So for some of us that our institution is not on the NHERI's network, and what our advisor wants us to do may be quite different from what is from the scope.
Okay.
What are we to do, and how do we fit in actually?
Well, this is all about building a graduate research community surrounded around natural hazards. So you don't have to belong to any of the NHERI universities or NHERI sites. We are just able to tap into those networks and to those resources to help us with things like funding in some cases, with people coming to speak. It is a big community, and so I've got a lot of connections there. And so it is just a starting place, but you don't have to necessarily be affiliated with that. It's just, again, we're moving to more interdisciplinary research, and we want to include as many people as possible.
Okay, thank you.
Anyone else that I can't see or that I'm missing? Because we do have 2 pages here. All right, guys, thank you. Oh, I see messages. Hold on. Whoa, 9 messages. So much. Okay, thanks. All right. Y'all have a great day. If you want to stay on and ask me questions, you can put them in chat, or I'll continue to stay on. But it was so nice to meet you, and thank you so much for signing on today.
Thank you.
I hope that you will continue working on those different documents so we can come up with some ideas that are solidified next time.